This course is arranged over levels 1, 2 and 3, each level aiming to build on the knowledge delivered in the last level, so that by the time you reach the end of level 3, you have all the knowledge and the skills available to help you to become a safe, effective and responsible practitioner. And in the first lecture, of course, we're going to give you an introduction. It's not just going to be an introduction to herbal medicine itself and the concepts of herbal medicine. It's also an introduction to the course, and it takes you through, in a very quick fashion, through the various things that you're going to be focusing on in more detail as we go through. So we're going to start with an overview of this course. We're going to take you through the 3 levels of the course and describe in a little more detail what happens on each level in order to prepare you for the journey that you have ahead of you. Obviously, we're starting with level 1 here, and the first thing we need to do is to tell you a little bit about what herbal medicine actually is, where it comes from, what are the belief systems, the philosophies, if you like, that underlie the practice of herbal medicine. And sort of set it in some kind of historical context. In fact, the next lecture in the series will be specifically a very, very simplified history, but enough to sort of put you in the picture about where herbal medicine came from and what we're doing with it. Herbal medicine is a traditional medicine system, and there are many, many versions of it around the planet, and some of them belong to really ancient and well-known systems of medicine like traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurveda from India, and some of them are less well-known. Ethnographic use of plants for medicine, of course, is worldwide. In fact, the World Health Organization estimated a few years ago that up to 80% of the world's population still use herbal medicine. So that's a big statistic for us. So having an awareness of traditional medicine systems is really important in this inquiry, and we'll be taking you through the traditional medicine system, the philosophy and the understanding of nature and how that gives us information about ourselves, about the problems, the symptoms, the diseases we might suffer from. There's a whole new way of looking at it, which is going to open up to you also in about lecture number 4. Clinical observation is a really important part of this, this inquiry as well. So we're going to start to put some cases in front of you, and you're not required necessarily to understand everything about those cases. You're not required to understand the herbal prescriptions and the treatment plans that we might come up with yet, because you haven't done that study yet. But what you're asked to do is just observe, see what you can get from observing the interaction between the therapist and the patient, see what you can get from the language that they use, from what the patient says about themselves, and have a look at that whole interaction. That's what clinical observation is about at first. Of course, all the way through this course, we will be preparing you for how you will eventually make the move into practice yourself. And that's a unit which we call personal and professional development. We put the personal in there too, because for everybody this is also a personal journey. You'll discover a lot about yourself as you go through this process. So personal and professional development is a little bit on every level. There's 2 classes on every level where we start to talk to you a little bit about those issues. I think what we've got coming up in level 1, it begins with the therapeutic relationship itself, and what is that all about, and how is it different from other types of relationship that we may have. And lastly, of course, beginning also to teach you how to understand research. Now, we have a distinct research policy in CNM, which will become much clearer to you as we go through this process. But what we need you to do is to be able to distinguish between types of research that maybe suit the medical profession very well, but don't suit natural medicine very well, and learn to distinguish between these types of research, in fact, to be able to read research in an intelligent way that will allow you to get what you need out of it. So that's basically what we'll start doing in level 1.